Well, today we are taking a delicious flavor of the fall and winter season and turning it into a decadent meal. Well, it's not exactly healthy, but that just means it's a good splurge, right? Chef Laura from Celebrated Cuisine is here to make a sweet potato tortellini, which, if we're being completely honest, has healthy ingredients.
Healthy
on the inside of the torts.
And it's really not that bad overall either. When I was making it just a little while ago, I'm thinking, you know, there's just not
too bad.
No, really not. I mean, it's just a trace amount of fat actually contributed by some butter.
Okay.
Otherwise, absolutely fantastic. So I thought we'd take just a few minutes and just talk about our ingredients and the technique that we're going to use for our main attraction, which is our sweet potato. Okay. So obviously everybody recognizes this.
Yes.
The sweet potato. Okay.
What's the difference between a sweet potato and a yam? I know I've asked this, but I cannot remember.
I love when you ask that. In this country, nothing. Okay, just the color, because everything out there is actually a sweet potato. We just call them yams when they're a different color than the yellow one, just by differentiation.
Like the darker, the darker redder ones.
Right. There's the garnet, and then there is the Beauregard.
Okay.
Which is quite a mouthful for such a little potato. But and then there is the yellow sweet potato. Okay.
So
but this is more of the Beauregard. This is a garnet yam. And if I flip it over, see the color on that? So what you want to do with this to get it going is you want to cut it in half, put it on a sheet tray with a little bit of oil on it, and just put it cut side down. And this is going to go into the oven, which we can go ahead and do at 425. Yeah, just go pop that right in the oven.
Is there something else going to come out? Nope, I guess not.
Not right now. No. We're going to let that baby go, okay? So actually what you're seeing, that particular technique is my absolute favorite way of having sweet potatoes, because as you'll see, once that's been roasted, we're going to peel that skin right off, and then you can do anything with it. So you can do just mashed sweet potatoes, you can make it into the tortelloni like we will today. You can puree it and fill a little onion with it and make it all elegant.
You could make baby food?
You can. Exactly. That would come out as baby food. Well, there you go. See, and it's a very inexpensive way of doing it as well. And you can season it any way you want to, but for the purposes of today, we're going to have a little bit of an Asian influence.
I love it.
Okay, so our ingredients are going to include a little bit of maple syrup, which of course is not necessarily Asian as much as it is the influence of Vermont, so maybe it is the Asian community in Vermont. A little bit?
That is a little bit of maple syrup.
This is the cutest bottle ever, don't you think?
You know, the best maple syrup, I think, in the country is from Maine. Do you know that, like, people in Maine, they stick little kind of...
No, Vermont, isn't it?
I know, but in Maine, they make some great maple syrup. They put like buckets, like empty milk pitchers, hang them from their trees, and that's how they get the maple sap.
Well, yeah,
I didn't know that.
Little thing in there. Well, that's where it's coming from. And there's a lot of different grades for maple syrup also. You'll see that on the bottle, A and B. And it's not that B is bad, so B is not for bad in this case, but it is, you're going to have a more pronounced maple flavor in the B. In A, it's going to be a little more subtle and a little more generous. So this is actually a grade A syrup, but so we have some syrup, we have some Chinese 5-spice powder. Okay, and it's called 5-spice powder because it has 5 spices in it.
6 spices in it.
Yes, exactly. It has 6 spices. So in this case, this has star anise, which is that funky looking thing that you see sometimes. A little bit of fennel, some cardamom, cloves, and cinnamon, cloves, and pepper. So those are the 5. So as a result of having the cinnamon in this, it actually, for some reason, tricks you into thinking there's a little bit of sweetness.
Sweet, right.
So when I've served this, some people will eat
would probably draw that out too, right?
Just a little bit, yeah. And what's wonderful, though, is that people will taste this particular dish, and you could look at this as being a side dish, you could look at it as being an hors d'oeuvre, but it could also be a dessert.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little spin on taking a sweet potato and making it into something sweet as opposed to savory if you wanted to, although there's no sugar in it at all. Now these are the wonton wrappers we're going to use. Instead of making pasta for our tortelloni, we're going to use the wonton wrapper. These you find in the produce section at the grocery store. Super easy to find. The good news is, too, is that you might only use half the package. So take the other half, wrap it up in plastic, and then stick it in your freezer.
Okay.
And you can take them out and let them thaw, and they're usable over and over again. Okay, well, obviously not once you've eaten them. And with these, it's great, too, because you don't have to go through the trouble of making pasta, but you also can use them in lieu of. So if you wanted to even make, with the bigger sheets, you could make lasagna with the bigger sheets if you wanted to.
Now you're getting ahead of yourself. Let's just do the tortellini.
Just a little. So those are our main ingredients. We're going to add a little bit of butter to the filling, and we're going to make the filling in our next segment. But if you can, just grab that sheet tray right over there. The last thing I want to show you.
Hot?
Yep. No, it's not hot. I wouldn't do that to you. I'm the kinder, gentler chef, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so once the sweet potato comes out of the oven, all we need to do is grab the skin just like this, and we just peel that skin right off.
Easy.
And what's really cool is that this is not garbage. This is actually delicious. So what I'll do with this is I will add a little bit of, maybe a tiny bit of salt, or I'll spray it with some olive oil onto another sheet tray back into the oven and bake them until they're crisp. And now you have a sweet potato skin that's good for you. So I knew I'd get the healthy thing back into the segment, right?
I've never tried that
And they're
before.
crunchy and they're delicious, and your kids will want to eat them. So
Okay.
it's a great way to introduce your kids to some other vegetables, and this is, this is obviously full of good nutrition, and we also get our beta carotene and whatnot from
And
this.
see here, I thought that was going into the compost pile.
So never. These are the
Never.
good things. Yes. There is no
Alrighty.
sweet potato safe around me, by the way. Once it's been roasted, I eat them all.
All of them. Well, that's why she has biceps, like.
And
this.
a six-pack.
To boot, exactly. Well, a little bit later, she's got a great body. We're going to make the filling and the tortelloni, and then a little bit later after that, we're going to make a sauce as well.
Yes,
so,
we are.
Andy, we're just getting started.